Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome. If you're a veteran, welcome back. Today, Hans has an exciting topic.
How to make badass sport dogs.
There you go.
I did some sport. People say I hate sport. I don't hate sport.
No, you said it many times.
Yeah, but never enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what do I mean by badass?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
What is this?
We can first make some definitions.
Yeah.
Like definition of badass.
Let's say Hans's definition of...
Yeah. It's like there's this website on the internet, badass people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's this British guy who went to fight in Normandy or whatever. He carried a broadsword with him.
Uh-huh.
He was a badass.
Yeah. That is. Yeah.
No, badass, I believe, is like a dog which is for real hard, serious dog.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you do sport, even today, the judges, they want the dog to be for real, look for real. Not just like a toy dog who want to play games with a sleeve on the helper's arm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference, by the way, between what's helper and what's decoy.
Yeah.
Helper is in sport, and decoy is in working protection.
Mm-hmm.
When you simulate the reality,
Mm-hmm.
and so you get more points when you do sport if your dog looks more serious. You want to have a really good pucker effect on decoy. I mean, on a helper.
Pucker effect.
The dog should be scary looking,
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah, intimidating.
And all the training in sport basically these days is done in prey drive, chasing toys, where the sleeve is toy too, right? So the helper in sport today is a guy who brings the dog a toy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog doesn't really feel any stress or threat.
Yeah.
And he doesn't consider the helper enemy.
Yeah.
Right? I like to use that word enemy because it doesn't leave any doubt about what I mean.
Yeah.
And however, if you train the dog that he sees the helper as an enemy, and it's taught just to bite into the sleeve, because for safety, he has to he has to bite into the sleeve. He doesn't target the sleeve, but he's biting into the sleeve. So basically, when you train the dog a real working protection, you want him to target the man. And sleeve should not be important to the dog. Some dogs actually avoid it. And in sport, you have to have the safety, so the dog, even so he target the man, the only place he bites him is in that sleeve.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not bad, okay? Because you need that safety in the sport.
Yeah.
However, these days, people who train sport, they teach them to target the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand the difference? There is a difference between dog strictly targeting the sleeve and dog targeting a man and thinking that the only place he can bite that man is in the sleeve.
Because that's what you feel.
It's two different things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you teach us every single
Well,
weekend.
no, because this is not sport.
No, I mean,
I'm not talking about what we do. I'm talking about sport now.
Okay.
Strictly sport.
No, I'm just saying what you teach is the opposite. Yeah, that's
Right.
what I'm saying. The opposite of it.
So you may today's sport teaches the dogs to target the equipment.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right, and that makes them look fake because they're happy and they want them to be happy. But the judges, I talked to a few German judges, and they said, no, I like dog who looks serious, who really means harm.
Mm-hmm.
And for the safety of the helper,
That's where I was going. Yeah.
you, even though the dog means harm to him, you teach him just that harm is going to be inflicted when he bites that sleeve. Right? The sleeve is not the target per se. It's just the place where you teach the dog to think that that's where the biggest harm is coming to the helper. Right? That's what the badass sport dog would do. Right? Because this is what the topic is.
Yeah.
Right? What you need to do if you want a dog like that, you first, and that's just where all the, not all, because I know some sport people who won't, but most sport people will cringe what I'm going to say now.
Like what percentage do you think?
About 95.
You're being nice. you're being nice.
No,
I'm just kidding.
There's some good.
No, I know. Yeah.
You know, so what you do, you put it first. It again boils down to succession. What is succession? Would come first, second, third, fourth, and so on. Right?
Order of things.
Order of things.
Yeah.
Succession. I'll call it succession. One of the most important concepts in dog training, which almost nobody talks about.
Yeah.
And what's important, and I learned this from this one guy from Southern Europe. I'm not going to say any country or anything because he wants to stay incognito. Okay. Because I said once on some forum that the sport is all in prey and that all dogs target just equipment. And this guy said, that's not true, right? So before I stop being obnoxiously negative, I said to him, okay, well, explain it to me, because there was something intriguing about what he said, right? And basically what they do, or what needs to be done, and I fully understand it, is you put the dog through defense first before you start any sport. Okay? And in other words, you build a default into the future sport dog that the guy in front of him, the helper in front of him, is not his friend with toy. Sleeve being toy. You teach him the guy in front of you is your enemy. Right? And the way they do it, this particular group of people, what they did is they would take a dog which was gonna be trained for sport before they start any sport and luring and any equipment, but the dog would be like year and a half old.
Yeah.
And they would go in this like a horse stall.
Mm-hmm.
And the handler went there with the dog in that horse stall.
Mm-hmm.
And the helper would come, and he had a leather jacket. I told you this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he would challenge the dog to the point, negatively, he would challenge the dog to the point that the dog bit him in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and the only thing which stopped him from being seriously injured is the thickness of the leather. So
Yeah.
it hurt.
Yeah.
And the dog realized it hurts.
Yeah.
And he liked it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's what made him win,
Yeah.
right? And then, so that was in defense, negative challenge from the dog bit the guy and all that. And then they brought the sleeve only later on,
Yeah.
right? And start doing prey motion and all that and everything else as what the sport trainers or Schutzhund type sport trainers or whatever they call it now. I'm dated. I call it Schutzhund, IGP, whatever. So sleeve biting sport.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then you have a dog, which when he sees the helper there, he sees him as an enemy, and he's serious. He will not really hurt him.
Yeah.
right? And all that sleeve work and all that is serving only, as I already said in beginning of this, is serving to the dog targeting the sleeve.
Yeah.
I mean, not targeting the sleeve, but targeting the bad guy
Yeah.
on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Because, if the dog in sport bites somewhere else, he gets disqualified.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that way you get a really serious dog, and I've seen some German guys. There was this video, man, it was awesome video. There was these guys that were getting ready for Bundesliga or something like that. It was getting dog for that. And they were in the woods. It's kind of clearing in the woods, tall trees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that video, man. I wish I would have it. And they were training the sport dog, getting him ready for the nationals, in Germany. And they were putting on him defense, man. They came in with a stick and they wailed at him, man, and all that. And they pushed him, and the dog was just so pissed off at the guy. Mm-hmm. And then they gave him a bite on the sleeve. Yeah. See? And so it started with defense, and perpetually, repeatedly, they would work the dog in prey, now and then they would wedge the defense in it. Yeah.
Do you think some of these sport dog trainers believe in their mind that they truly have a dog?
Well, it's a different issue. No, they may believe it. They're naive if they think so.
I'm just saying, yeah.
But this is not a training dog for personal protection. This is training dog for sport, where the dog is serious, so that the helper and the judge, when they see it with experienced eye, realize that dog, if they would not have sleeve, he would fuck them up. Yeah. Excuse my language. Right? So
you're talking about default, basically, kind of, sort of, a little bit.
Yeah, defense, default. Yeah,
default of the dog. Which a lot of these trainers don't want to believe it, or they don't know about it. Nobody talked about it.
I don't know, man.
I don't know which part is it, or you think, or they've never been taught. Nobody talked about it for them.
Well, they do what they're being taught. They have a default too.
Yeah,
and the default is playing dog and happy-go-lucky and prancing. Yeah. And then you take that dog like that in a stadium which is foreign to the dog, foreign judge, foreign crowd, foreign decoy or helper.
Yeah,
and dogs fail. Because they're not used to that stress.
Yeah. I had someone recently ask, "Oh, so your dog knows how to bark on command?" I go, "No, what Hans thought, when I say the word, that's an enemy."
Right. It turns the dog from being diffused to being in drive.
It's not just so bark.
No, it's not
a circus trick.
But that's what these people do in sport. They just teach the dog to bark. It's like speak.
So I explain.
It's like, when you see the dog bouncing and barking.
Speak.
He's saying, speak, woof, 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 woof. And if he does it correctly, they give him the bite on the sleeve. Yeah. And then they pull out of the sleeve and dogs carry it away like a trophy. If you would do the same thing with the dog I'm telling you about, it would probably not be a good idea. Yeah. But in trials, you don't do that, right? Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying, if these groups of people who want a really serious, as I like to say, badass dogs for sport, you have the genetics of natural protectiveness and prey, both. Not just prey, as they breeding it now. Yeah. And you gotta engage the dog by default to generate the default of the helper being the bad guy. Yeah. Right? That's a default. And default, it happens if that's what the dog learns first. Yeah. Default is what the dog learns first, like the most does the best, and reverse to when under stress. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so once you have that default, now you can build sport on it. Yeah. You can do everything they do in sport. You can do it there, but you have that default in defense.
Yeah. And this
That's
is,
that little trick where you can get a really badass sport dog
yeah.
for sport,
Yeah.
not for personal protection. I won't do it that way either. I mean, I would both the default of in defense and targeting the man, but then I wouldn't transfer it to the sleeve like you have to do in the sport.
Yeah.
Right. I would just run with it for the personal protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's basically it.
Well, it's just 50 some years of
Yeah.
experience. And that's what
But it's refreshing to see that there are still groups of trainers who knows this.
yeah. But
they-
it's a minority.
Oh,
So,
less than 1%, I would say,
so
who actually do this.
yeah.
But I remember I've seen these guys from Southern Europe, and then I've seen this video of these guys in Germany, and it was amazing what those dogs were scary, man.
Mm-hmm.
They had presence,
Mm-hmm.
as I like to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that dog, when he did Holden, bark, woof, woof, it wasn't just woof, woof, it was just like, I'll kill you. You give me a move, I'll change your life.
Was it like the dog that Yuri left out?
Bully.
Or Bully?
Yeah.
Like
But, so if you want to
but
win based on, and then you do the sport on the accuracy needs to be it's really important in sports because the dogs are trained so well in sport that you need to build the accuracy, and that's done all through prey drive and all the other stuff.
yeah.
But the default still is in defense.
So, you better be an experienced dog trainer to understand what you're doing to build it correctly, because if you put a dog like that...
Only the
into-
most experienced
that's what I'm
train
saying.
this way, yeah.
So I think that's also an issue here, that there's so many so-called dog trainers in the sense of they're passionate about dogs. It's not that they are not. They're just either not willing to listen or nobody really told them what the fundamentals of the successions are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, somewhere it's, or just a law, it's losing like an art.
Well, there's many different ways you can train the dog, and only few of them are correct, right? And you always got to decide what is your final product, and that's how you structure the succession.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, like in this case, what I'm talking about, you want to have a sport dog, but you want him to be...
If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version.
Having this presence which the judges like to see. For example, they drive the dog and he hangs on the sleeve, and they don't want him just to hang on the sleeve, right? Like kind of hang in and go for the ride, right?
Yeah.
As the helper is running with the dog, right? And if they do it, okay. But they like the dog who really wants to take you down.
like a great white.
Yeah, the judge like to see the dog who is
Serious.
trying to stop you.
Serious.
Because as you drive the dog, the helper is driving the dog, and dog is just going for the ride like with some kind of a
Yeah.
That's not the exercise. The exercise originally was intended so that the dog, when he grabs you by that sleeve, is trying to stop you and dominate you, right? And not going for
like
a ride.
like a prey.
Yeah,
Like you're the prey.
like you get a deer and take him down.
Yeah.
That's what they, and when you build it on defense, so the dog is more serious.
Yeah.
They don't go for a ride and have a big shit grin on their face.
And that was important because genetically, those are the dogs they wanted to continue to. That's one of to breed. As part of the genetics of the dog too.
Well,
So-
that would be good, right?
Yeah.
If they would, yeah.
So, but,
Yeah. Unfortunately, these days, none of this is done that much. And if it's done, it's done in secrecy. Because that's why I don't mention these people I told you.
Yeah, you don't want to,
because they were afraid that if the greater sport people, greater amount,
Yeah.
the mass of the sport people find out, they would destroy them.
Well, they already have the hitting is really not hitting. You can't touch it anymore with them. But
I think they completely eliminated the stick, period. There's
Yeah.
not even stick at all.
yeah. So,
First of all, it was hitting, then it was every third was getting hit. Then it was no hitting, just kind of waving above the dog. And now I think now it's like no stick, period. It's just offend the visitors when you wave the stick above the dog.
yeah.
Well, bullshit.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Imagine if soldiers were trained that way. What kind of army we would have.
Well, there's that. I don't want to get into this.
All right. We're going to end the episode today. but
We can talk politics
no,
if you want.
No, we don't take it there. But that's what, as far as the personal protection part, that's what you show in the video series that you have.
Right, but this is personal protection.
I know.
I'm not talking about personal protection. I'm talking about sport dogs.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you have a video series.
Or to do the real protection,
though.
the working protection.
If you're listening right now.
Where what constitutes real working protection? The dog target the man, number one, and see him as an enemy.
Yeah.
That's real protection.
Yeah.
Now, police need a lot of prey drive because they're catching dogs. The bad guy runs and they track him or chase him, and
Yeah.
where in protection, real protection, the bad guy's coming at you. That's what most civilians would run into.
But even police, sometimes the bad guy turns too. You know?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But main dogs for law enforcement are the dogs which just run and catch somebody running away.
Yeah, which makes
Slow them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
if you want to have a badass sport dog, start them in defense and give them a bite which they think is for real on a human being. And they do it on the chest so that when you put the sleeve, it's right there too. So
it's in the way. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there you go. Hans is gonna. Hans is new training. Get him with
This is not new, man.
I know it's not
And
new.
then people say, "Oh, Hans is old school." Like if it's bad, I never.
What old school? Yeah.
I never know if old school is good or bad. Whatever that means.
Well,
What they mean.
yeah.
Hans, you are old school. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like saying, Hans, you're smart.
Yeah.
And is it an insult? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. Words have meanings. All right. Anything you want to add to this episode, Hans?
No.
You said it all today. What do you want to say
That's all.
for this episode? So, all right, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you go to alpinecaninereal.com, like realistic.com. And Hans has all sorts of different videos about obedience, the basic obedience, training without cookies or toys, out of drive obedience, as Hans says it, which is
How to make leash.
how to make leash.
You can
which
make
is
yourself
awesome. It's cool.
a real good leash.
I have 2 of them, and it's great, and it gets better with time. Those leashes just soften up. Also, again, the personal protection video series, and if you buy the whole series, you can buy them separately. But if you buy the whole package, then Hans will give you support.
Discount,
Well, there's a discount, and then
support. Yeah, you get coaching.
Yeah, so it's huge.
Yeah, you get coaching on the internet. You can send me video, and I'll look at it. And
Which is a bargain. I think most people would not.
I deal with these people in Australia. They're really good people.
Yeah, yeah.
That thing I sent you today, that was what I sent them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and people been buying that. I think it's the videos.
Yeah,
are
it's getting more and more popular.
more and more popular, and I think some of you that are watching these videos are finally understanding what Hans means, and which is great. Hans.
Well, most of the critique I get on internet is from people which they don't even know what I'm doing.
No.
They just
Yeah.
Hans says, You look at 15-second video and condemn all the training I do.
Yeah.
No. But it's good, as P.T. Barnum said, there's no such thing as bad advertisement.
Yeah, the word is going out. Hans is on the loose on the internet. But if you want to feed your puppies raw, Hans will show you how to do that. He's got a video on that too. And we sold Art of War.
Oh, yeah, finally, huh?
It's a great video.
It's a great video. One of the best ones I ever made.
How to
I
help
think.
your dog if there's an actual issue.
Right.
So,
And yeah, and we're gonna do more videos on protection. I'm getting ready for it. So
yeah, because as the questions, as Hans, we're doing these videos and he's talking to people. There's some clarifications that he wants to do. So that'll be coming out too. You'll see it on the website. So visit alpinecaninereel.com to check out all these videos. And if you're looking for a puppy or a trained dog that comes from the Czech Republic, Hans is your person to. And I know people have been asking about puppies sometimes.
I'm the original importer of Czech Border Patrol dogs.
He's the man. You're looking at the guy right now.
People say, that's such bullshit. How can he say that? You know why I can say that? Because it's true, man.
It is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I imported the first Czech dogs to the United States and Canada and
back in the 80s.
All over the world.
Yeah, and also the
Argentina.
The American Kennel Association
Israel.
recognized the Czech German Shepherd because of Hans and who was the lady?
Melanie Drew.
Okay, Melanie Drew.
Yeah, so, we got it registerable with the AKC because all those dogs were military dogs. They don't have the they didn't have the paperwork the AKC required, so we got it.
You literally are seeing the man right now.
This is it, man.
This is it. Hans is so nonchalant, like. We did that like that. I'm like, Hans, we got to do a podcast. That's good thing. Like
there's this guy now. This just said that I didn't live in Wyoming in winter under the tree. He says it's such bullshit. You know, there's no way. You know, I said, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah. So there's an episode. I don't know when you're watching this, when we're going to publish this, but Hans did. Train the vice president's dog, one of the vice president's dog, and I said, Hans, we gotta do an episode. We did do it, so it's gonna be coming out. So
we did that one. Right?
We did it, but I don't know when people are gonna watch this.
Yeah, it gotta be processed.
Yeah, it's gonna process.
That was a good one too.
It is a good one. Yeah, good story, I think. So So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Ahoy.